Hello and welcome to this Ideologue tutorial. This is based on the board game Developing. I'm going to walk you through how to play a round, and that should let you play through the entire game. So to start, we're going to click the Ideologue button. Here you'll see that there's different difficulty you can set based on your IQ. Higher over here is more difficult, lower. This is based for the AI, how difficult they are, how much they plan ahead. Number of players, if you want to have the full experience, have the 6 players, that's 5 computers, 1 human is you. With more computer players, they don't team up on you, they don't plan against you, they just, they each want to win, they'll have different strategies, so it makes it more difficult to win because they're each trying different things. Okay, so I'm just going to set the difficulty 136, hit confirm. I'm going to put my name in, and here we are, main screen. So in Ideologue, the idea is that you're trying to build a nation that's going to be the most powerful by the end of the ages. So there's 6 rounds, each representing a different age. You can see here, we start with ancient, we go all the way to digital. What you're trying to do is maximize your population and your resources. Now what does that mean? What do those do? Well, if we go to the help menu here, we can learn about the icons. So population is used by your civilization in a lot of different ways. It's going to be probably your limiting factor for how much it grows. It fields your military. You need to build infrastructure and technology, which are going to help you gather more resources. Resources are used to make trade goods, which you can see down here. There's copper, silver, gold, and platinum. And those trade goods can be exchanged for wealth, which can then be used to get more population, resources, and knowledge. So it's kind of a feedback here where population and resources are going to use to get trade goods, which are used to get wealth, to get more, and just kind of keeps feedback. There's also upgrades you can get, and these are things that will permanently boost your nation. So there's military, infrastructure, technology. Military is going to help defend yourself and also take things from opponents. Infrastructure produces knowledge, which you're going to use to get civics and upgrades. I'll explain civics in a moment. And technology is used to get resources. So I mentioned these civics. The idea is that your nation is going to have different ideologies that's going to help them develop in different ways and provide different bonuses. So we started the game here. There's randomly 4 chosen down here. This is called the auction phase because you're going to try and bid and win these civics if you want them. So for example, we have ancient alien architects, we have gladiators, drums and dance, and polytheism. So you can see this little symbol here. If I hover my mouse over it, it says knowledge. So getting either ancient alien architecture, drum and dance is going to help you develop your knowledge. Now these civics have 6 different types: knowledge, offense, defense, resources, population, and wealth. You can have at most 2 of one type of civic. So if I bought ancient alien architects and drums and dance, I can't own any more knowledge-based civics unless if I discard one and get half the knowledge back that I spent on it. Now you're probably going to want to do that in later rounds because each round the civics get more and more powerful. They also get more and more expensive to buy. So let's start off here, and I'm just going to say, you know what, I want to be a little bit stronger in combat, so I'm going to put up an auction. So I'm going to try putting up an auction for gladiators, and it looks like Saladin wants to buy this as well. So I can outbid them with 10 knowledge. I'm going to say yes, I'm going to do that. Your stats down here, you can see your population, resources, knowledge, wealth, trade goods, and then your upgrades. This just gives you a quick glance to see who is doing what in the game. So right here you can see if I want to discard my gladiators, I could get 4 knowledge back for them. So I'm going to say what, I'm pretty good with this. I don't want any more civics, so I'm just going to hit the next button. And now this brings us to the management phase. So auction phase is done. If you want to see what the other players are doing, you can just click on them. You can see what civics they bought and kind of what they're up to. So for myself here, I can see that Bismarck seems to be focused a little on military. So I mentioned now in the management phase we can do these upgrades and make trade goods. So trade goods are great. You want to make sure when you make them they cost resources, and you still got to feed your people at the end of the round here. So you don't want to use too many because you might end up starving your people. But also the number of resources you can make, the number of trade goods you can make is limited by your infrastructure and technology. Since we don't have any, we can't build any. So let's upgrade our infrastructure. That costs 1 population and 1 resource. Got tons of them right now, so I upgrade that. And let's upgrade our technology twice. I click that. There we go. So you can see here what our infrastructure and technology is at. Now that I have a total of 3 between the two, I could exchange up to 3 resources to build a trade good. So what does that mean? That means I'm going to roll 6 dice. Excuse me, I'm going to roll a 6-sided dice. I'm going to roll 3 of them. That's the number of resources that you spend. So if I click this, I roll my dice, and for any matches I get, for example, here I didn't get any matches. I got a 1, a 5, and a 2, so that gives me 3 copper. And I gathered them right there. If I take a look at the management phase, I can see here that for every single I get a copper. If I were to get any pair of numbers, I get silver. Any triples, I get a gold. Quadruple or higher, I get a platinum. Anything that you have questions about what to do in the phase, this little help menu here is pretty good. It also gives an idea of kind of an overview if you want to get an idea of the game. So I got my 3 copper. I can see, oh, Montezuma's got some silver. Somehow Trump got a platinum, so I guess he rolled 6 dice and was able to get 4 of them, 4 matches. That's incredible for the first round. I swear the computer doesn't cheat on that. You probably won't see that again for a very long time if we did this again. So let's upgrade our military bit. Now if you're wondering, what do I get for this stuff? If you click your upgrades menu here, you can see what this gives you. So now that we have 1 infrastructure, that means this round we're going to get 5 knowledge. So it costs 1 population, 1 resource to get us level 1, and we get 5 knowledge. If we want to upgrade it again, it costs 1 population, 1 resource to get 10 knowledge. You can see the cost goes up over time, but you also get more. Our technology is at level 2, so we actually get 2 resources every round. So if you want to have an idea of what you get, just click on that upgrades button on the top there. Now, you have to field your military. So you can have a massive military score, but if your population is very low, you're not going to be able to utilize all of it. So you usually want to try and keep your military and population pretty equal. So I'm going to just upgrade my military twice more. And if you say, okay, well, what does that military score get you? If we go to upgrades, we can see that at 5 military, I'm rolling 2 dice in the combat phase. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's get there. So I'm going to hit the next button. We're now in the combat phase. This just gives you a little update saying that, hey, Elizabeth lacked 1 population to field their military. If your name's showing up in here, that's something to keep in mind. You want to try and keep your population up. So in the combat phase, you roll your dice. I ended up rolling pretty good. I got a 6 and a 4, which is an awesome score to start the game out with. And you can see everyone's offense here. That was the score I just calculated there. I'm at 10. I'm also tied with Saladin right now, but I got this trick up my sleeve. I got the Gladiator Civic, so I can activate that now. You can activate civics in the phase that you can use them. Also, if you have trouble reading them, especially in the auction phase, they're a little bit smaller, you can click on them, and you can see what they do here, and also a little quote. Let's see here. So now I've got the highest offense, and defense is just half your effective military. So, and that's always rounded down. So what this means for the defense, any players that don't have the highest defense, so you can see several of us tied for the highest. But these players who have a lower defense, they lose the difference from the highest to theirs in resources. So these 2 guys are going to lose 1 resource each for the defense portion. And for offense, I'm lucky I have the highest, so it goes from highest offense score, and you go down each player, and they can take 1 thing from each player that has the lower offense than them. So for here you can see this is just the defense phase, what players lost for resources. So again, we had one of the highest defense scores, so we didn't lose any. Montezuma would have lost 1, but it looks like 1 was protected, and he's probably got a civic. Let's find out. Yeah, he's got cat worship, which makes it so he lose 1 less resource during that phase. So he got protected. Now, I can't attack myself, but because I have the highest score, I can attack anyone I want. And I mentioned before, Trump just pumped everything into making that platinum, and that's unfortunate for him. He should have been focusing a little bit more on military, because I'm going to take it. So I click on Trump. It says, what do you want to take? I want to take this platinum. If you forget what the value of the trade goods are, there's just 4: copper, silver, gold, and platinum. You just hover your mouse over. You see copper's worth 1, silver's worth 3, gold is worth 5, platinum's worth 7. And then everyone else takes their turn. So you can see, for example, next would have been Saladin, he attacked Bismarck. Then it looks like it would either be Bismarck or Montezuma. So Montezuma attacked Elizabeth, and it just kind of goes down highest to lowest. If someone's been attacked already, they cannot be attacked again. and a player cannot attack someone with a higher offensive score than them. So it just kind of goes down the list, and players take things. So let's see here. I took the platinum from Trump, Saladin took resources, and Montezuma took silver from Elizabeth. Now we're in the supply phase, so this is where you get the benefit of those upgrades. So we got some knowledge from infrastructure, we got some resources from technology, and then you also just, every round you get 5 wealth, and then you get an additional wealth for every 5 population you own. So I'm going to get an extra wealth, Saladin's going to get an extra wealth, and it looks like Elizabeth and Trump kind of missing out. And if you want to just see what people are getting, you can click on them. So for example, they only get the 5, I got the 6, kind of see what they're up to. Alright, move to the next phase. The trade phase is interesting because you can try and trade with the other players to benefit yourself. So the idea behind it being that you can only trade in 1 trade good at the end of this round here. So I have copper and I have platinum. Now platinum's worth 7 and copper's only worth 1 each. So obviously I want to try and keep this platinum, but this copper I'm just going to have to throw out. Not worth anything to me. So I might be able to talk to another player. Let's go to, I see Elizabeth has some copper here. She has 2, and I happen to be highlighted her if I wanted to select her. If you click on another player, you're potentially looking at what they're trying to trade with. You obviously can't control the AI, so you want to make sure you clicked on yourself here. Make sure you're highlighted. Click on the player you want to trade with. Now I'm on the left, Elizabeth is on the right, and you can see here's where we're at right now. So for example, I have 5 population, she has 3 population. I said, well, I got 3 copper, I'm going to give it to her, so I'm going to have 0 copper, and she'll have 5, and maybe she'll give me some wealth for that. And I just keep sliding it over, and you can see here the button will change color if she doesn't want it. So it looks like I can get some wealth off of her if I give her my copper, which again is useless to me, and she's not doing so well it looks like, so I'm fine with that. Great, so I gained a little bit of wealth, got rid of my copper. I'm pretty happy with this. I got lots of resources to feed my people. Looks like Montezuma might have some trouble feeding his people. So what's going to happen in this next phase here, I'm going to hit next. The AI, you can see them trading a little bit down here with themselves. And it says this time no one starved. Normally what would pop up here is if anyone didn't have enough resources to feed their people, those people would just die. So if this was reversed and said if I had 10 population and 5 resources, I would have to destroy 5 population. I could only have up to my population and resources. You don't lose those resources. You're not spending the resources. You just have to have them in order to feed your people. So make sure you try and keep your resources at least up to your population for the upkeep phase. And then finally here, choosing what trade good I want to cash in. I mentioned we can only cash in 1. Fortunately, I only have 1, the platinum, so I cashed that in for 7 wealth. They discard remaining trade goods. And now I can see the computer has decided what they want to do. I have 15 wealth remaining here. You can also see that here. And I want to be able to buy some nice civics for the next round, so I want to make sure I get some knowledge. Right now I only have 10. Probably getting something like 40 or 50 would be a good idea. Let's bump up my population to make sure I have a good military, and I want to make some trade goods, so I'm going to spend the rest on resources. Let's just say whether you want to buy 5 or 1 of the thing, each one costs 1 wealth, so for 1 wealth I get a population, I get a resource, or I get 10 knowledge. And then I'm going to hit the next button, and we are done the round. This is a little summary, kind of tells you how each nation is doing if you want to get an idea of kind of who's winning or losing. So it says I'm pretty mighty with my gladiators. I kind of have a bit of an unusual military. Looks like Elizabeth is actually doing very well. They're magnificent and awe-inspiring, and they're overwhelming the world. And let's see who's not doing so hot. Trump's unimpressive. There's maybe no surprise there. World pities their feeble, unusual military. Poor guy. Just because he had a struggle the last round. Now let's see here. So we're done the round, and you can see new civics are up. Again, we can click on one to see what it does. There's a little quote in there. And you should be good to go for the rest of the game. Again, the game ends in the end of the 6th round, and then it just adds up your population and resources. So try to pump those numbers up as much as possible, and you might become the one true ideologue.